We're still muted now. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
I forgot to
Let's start
unmute
again.
us.
Hello, everyone.
Yanis is trolling us. Yanis is trolling us.
There you go. Sorry, guys. I forgot I had us muted, so people cannot hear. So, welcome to another stream. It's been a while now, 2 weeks since the last one, and unfortunately, this time there's no guests. It's gonna be just us, the core team, after the end of the anniversary. But we have a really exciting stream. I think we'll cover it with a lot of content. So in this stream. So let's start by doing a few hellos, and then we're gonna go and explain what we'll be talking in this stream. So, hello, Menonson, Darth Liar, Primus Godus, Fuse 77, Lord Draggear, Choda Boy, Tra Doperson, Creepy Lighting, Jack Lee, Grey Malion, and Dave 88 Prime.
And
And
from yeah, you
go
first,
for it.
Fabian. You first.
Okay. Okay. And on Facebook, we are joined by Rodrigo Villagrana, Bensi Cornell, Andrew Cummings, Richard Gray. Hello to Ashwin Mahawa, Thomas Hedges, Samuel Grape, and Rob Smith. Hello to Rogers Fernandez, Centeno Jr., Rob Smith, Corey Speaks, Kylie Blanchett, Jason Heng, Ross Duncan, and I think that is it. We also have like Charlie Lay. Hello to Brian Vanderpool, Adrian Larachao, GT Tremaine, Dino Polino, and I think that is it this time. Hello to you guys.
Nice. And some friends from YouTube. Ash Yagami. Hello. Cameron Biadoin. Vinicius Gamer Audio Air 8. Nice, cool game. Gang Galvatron, one of the usuals. Destroyer Fire Rage. Something that I think it's a Russian name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but hello to you too. Hector S.E.V. Solorzano Vega. And Error Sans, that's a nice name too. Black MacDog, Geneva Mitchell, and a lot of the usuals I see and new names. So hello to everyone and thanks for joining us onto this stream.
Cool. So as I said, this is gonna be an exciting stream. So we're gonna have quite a few things to. So we're gonna be showing the two new bots joining us. Chromia and Felbat are the new additions. We're gonna be showing, of course, the event for this week. We're gonna do dialogue later on, a little bit on. We're just not straight after the start of it because there's gonna be a big reveal in the dialogue. Some other additions, not outside the bots are coming in. So we're gonna be throwing the dialogue and showing some other stuff. So a lot of new content is gonna be coming soon, and some of it I think is gonna be really excited with a lot of people being waiting for that. So yeah. Um,
Let's crack on. Should we
should we
start
go
with the
through
event then?
the event first? Yeah.
Let's go for the event first.
Cool. So Hyro,
Do you want to show it or I will just.
it's already live.
Okay. So event, we come from a raid, and now we come to another kind of relaxed weekend before the storm arrives. That will be the end of the saga event. But this weekend we have data mining, and it's an ATP. You can play with your alliance. It's an alliance tournament. You can play with your friends, and it's kind of newbie oriented because you can get tons of alloy and energon to level up your base and your bots. You can get up to 10,500 premium crystal shards. That's like 10 premium crystals. And the bread and butter here, I think it's the total spark crystals. That it's usually one of the latest rewards, and you have to grind a lot to get them. And in this case, at the end of every prestige, you can get one and get up to 10,000 spark of any of the available types. So it's a pretty good event. It's not a hard one. It's a Rolex one, and you can play with your friends. It's a triple XP. Get some power back and strength back for to use it next week.
Yeah, there's gonna be a leaderboard event coming next week, so we want people to have some relaxing weekend and get strength and stamina in order to be able to hit it hard next week. So this is why this is designed to be a bit more soft, but quite have a few resources for all the people that's still upgrading the bases, so they can get some buildings in there.
Cool.
So that's that.
It was a quick description of the event, but yeah, I mean the interesting one will be next weekend. This one a good one to get many resources, but yeah, that's it.
So next one is the new characters, Chromia and Felbat. I'm gonna be switching in a bit to showcase them.
Yeah, so Chromia is coming to the game. There was like a lot of requests, notably in this stream, to get more female characters. Chromia is one. She is coming to the game. She's inspired by the Generation toy.
I think that's
Generation.
it's from the Siege toy, isn't it?
Oh yeah. War of Cybertron Siege, exactly. Yeah. So you can see if you see the toy, you'll see her in the game. It was already revealed in the newsletter, along with the bio that was written by Simon Furman. Is it already on?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Alongside that is Felbat. A lot of people say, why no Hellbat? That's all trademark issues and how it's like Hasbro has brought it over the West. I think the Japanese version of the game will probably have Hellbat, but because we'll just take the Japanese name, but for the Western markets, unfortunately, it's Felbat. So that's his name. I'm preempting.
Yeah, you will see it also in the game. It was mostly inspired by the Generations toy, but with some addition. We've like tweaked it a bit, so we can just like have this bat that he has on as a chess piece. We'll be able to see that.
Waiting in a bit. It's gonna be annoying this stream because you have to jump between different ways because it's now he's on playtest and he's still not live on the environment that people are playing the game, so had to change to that. Okay, cool. So let's go and showcase Chromia. There, yeah, cool. There we go.
Cool.
So there's Chromia. Straight from the Seeds toy line. I don't even know. I've lost count how many females. I was gonna say how the number of females you have in the game, but there's quite a few now. So great addition, Chromia. I think it's always been. I think it's a stealthy saboteur, so a great bot to have. Transforming
she has this kind of like really Siege look, Cybertronian form, where she looks a little bit bulkier than the previous version, and instead of like really transforming into like a motorcycle like she was in the previous toy, she transforms kind of like, is it a car, is it a motorcycle? It's kind of like flatter. You can tell it's something that probably goes quite fast, but yeah, definitely a Cybertron look.
It's a cool gun.
Yeah, and the transformation are quite cool as well. She has like a custom and bespoke gun.
What classes is gonna be, Fabian? Can we reveal some stuff about how she behaves in battle without going through the ability yet? Because I think it's still playtesting.
Yeah, so if you have read the bios in the newsletter, there's like big hints that she will be that type of bot that's versed into sabotage. So she will be currently on the playtest, and she will be most likely a scout. So she's going to be like, don't want to reveal too much of the ability, but it revolves around like sabotage, but there will still be damage in the mix.
Cool. And let's go and showcase Felbat, which is the next Decepticon character.
As usual, feel free to drop your questions into the chat. I'm checking for them, passing them to Fabian and Ionis, and we will answer whatever we can at some point during a QA session.
And this is Felbat.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I think so. The difference I was saying was like we took inspiration from the Generations toy line, but we added this kind of like amazing chest piece that reminds of a bat. That makes him look like pretty cool. his head is also like quite iconic of a bat. So is going to be the same as Chromia, like a scout, of course, and he will have. It's all inspired by the fact that he's a bat and he has like ultrasonic kind of waves. So yeah, it looks really cool as well. It transforms into a plane.
And back from it.
And he is a pretty bad character, actually. It's like he always like tries to get the leadership in his little group of combiner bots, and nobody in this group really likes him. So it's a bit of a.
I remember, I think I was watching a Victory episode where he was running away or something, and then he killed another Decepticon while by mistake or something. He was pretty an interesting character in the Victory cartoon.
Yeah, I really like what the art team did with it. It's like the color scheme is also quite cool. The gun is also like yellow to remind all the other of the yellow on the body. So yeah.
Cool. That's Felbat. And again, so another case of Chromia for whoever missed it.
Yeah, so we're still working on the ability. We were like that close to be able to reveal it
Can we
stream,
say some stuff for the ability? Any hints?
Yeah, it will. What can I say without revealing too much? It will target multiple targets at once, and it will disable them while providing some damage. The exact detail of it will come later.
Cool.
So yeah, that was like playing with the scouts and the fact that they disable target and then into sabotage. So this is all around the team, especially for Chromia. That's known for that.
Cool. So for the people that are interested for the ability, I think we're gonna be still playtesting until the end of the week. Hopefully, at the start of next week, we can when we finalize the YouTubers, the influencers that work for the game, they will create a few content that's gonna go out there, so people can have an early look of how the ability looks. We also gonna, of course, feature that ability in the stream. Not in the stream, sorry, in the newsletter that's gonna be next week. And of course, we're gonna have a test battle that's gonna go out a bit earlier in the week. So next week you'll be able to see the ability. They are getting released next week in the leaderboard event. We're not gonna have a stream next week, so we won't actually be able to show their ability ourselves. But there's a lot of YouTubers now that you can actually see, and they can actually go into more detail about how you can use and more tips about here. Cool.
Cool. We're very fast today.
Yeah, we can stop down and just see if there's any questions, and even maybe do the trivia a bit early on, so we can actually get out of the way before we start revealing the rest of the stuff. Is any questions so far?
Really so any question. So is Hellbat or Felbat a fembot? No, Hellbat is not a fembot.
No, he's a guy.
He's a guy. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
But there will be this year. There will be a female Decepticon coming.
Yeah, I think actually quite soon too. There will be another one joining up the fray.
Question for Yanis.
Yeah.
Is that a Starscream or a Skywarp in your shirt?
It's the no one really knows. Like because Josh will kill me if I say otherwise. He's Skywarp, just because of the color. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever people want to believe it is.
Oh, that's nice. Johnny Moose Prime is asking, is there a possibility of having a shield combat bot in the future to augment defenses, like a shield form?
Defenses the defenses, the buildings themselves, or defense of the
I guess like it transforms into a shield instead of a weapon, or instead of a gun or axe.
I don't know, like so some of the new, I think some of the new toys like they came in, some of the new battle masters that Seed's Toyline has done for Earthrise, some of them did transform into shields. So maybe in the future we could do something with our combat system where we can introduce some like new combat bots that could be a shield, enhancing the defense of bots. Possibly in the future, could something like that could come. Yeah.
I have another question. What somebody asked, like, if it's possible to have Elita 1 as a 5-star and not break the game, can you bring the other bots as 5-star, meaning Star Saber, Sentius, and there was another one.
No, actually, even though Elita 1 is pretty good, because of her sword and range, it's not like Star Saber that just flies across the whole base. It's you have to have cluster of defenses, which can be actually so her usability is a bit less. So I don't want to do that with Star Saber because that could be go really bad. Even the 4-star Star Saber is pretty good if you're going to just go through the base. You can just pretty much do a lot of defenses. So no, and also Sendius has already been kind of designed to be nearly a 5-star. So the stats will be pretty crazy if he was a 5-star. I don't know. Maybe if HQ17 is more established and like full, everyone is like running HQ17. Some other defenses are there, and the game feels so much harder that we need to do some of the really good bots and 5-star rating. Then maybe we could consider it, but at the moment I have no intention of getting those bots as a 5-stars.
Cool. I don't see any more questions. Maybe we could go with some trivia for now.
Yeah, we can do some trivia while we wait for some more questions, and then we can go through the dialogue and to the reveal because a lot of people seem to be holding their excitement for what's coming up.
Cool, let's do some trivia. I'll remind how you can play. So I'm going to ask a question and you can post your answer in the chat together with your in-game name, alliance name, and HQ level, so we can find you and send you some freebies in the couple of days that's going to follow the stream. So the first question today is, in the 2005 IDW comic, Transformers Robots in Disguise, Chromia's job is that of a bodyguard, but who is she protecting? I'll repeat the question. In the 2005 IDW comic, Transformers Robots in Disguise, Chromia's job is that of a bodyguard, but who is she protecting?
Cool. See some other questions I can probably take. People are asking when we can collect enemy combiners. This was a question being actually it was asked to us on a previous stream, and we said like maybe we will consider it. I am quite skeptical because like I mean it's nice for the people that do collect alt function, but at the same time having two of the same bot or with the same kind of power feels a bit kind of broken because people will gonna have two Volcanicuses, so they can actually really cheaply just use that bot, that combiner style twice. So I don't know. It's something I'm still thinking, but I don't think something that's gonna happen really quickly. And also, yeah, like we still want to think about something like that. There was a question about Sonic Store update. I'm still thinking about what to do. Some people so I think now like if you have collected the 5-star primal, now he's not there anymore. This is something we did, and I wanted to add like even if in the future we add another 5-star bot, which we don't mean to, that will be the requirement that you have to collect primal. So we will not update a 5-star bot, and people that are had buy primal will be like, why did I spend the things on primal, because it might be a better like 5-star bot. So it will always be that you have to get primal before you get a 5-star bot if another one ever gets in there. So as a bit of a warning and a heads up.
Yeah, there was also a request to allow players to unlock the alt faction, Shanix 5-star. The thing is that we want to introduce more things. We want to keep adding interesting stuff into the Shanix store, and maybe you buy that bot and then you realize you won't use it. There will be new stuff you want to use it. So far we are holding on unlocking the Alpha Action one because there will be new stuff coming up.
There was also a question about, is there any chance to add new defense building like Gatling guns? So I don't know exactly about Gatling guns.
So I don't know. We have quite a few ideas of what's next after HQ17, but considering that HQ17 has just came around and we still don't have that many bases that are actually full HQ17, I would not say that something will come up soon. Also with the new Prime League effects and the hard mode, feels like the difficulty is quite hard now. So we want to wait for people to be able to catch up and acclaim themselves with what's out there. And then when we see that a lot of people find it now easier, then we can start thinking about introducing a few other things. There's a lot of cool ideas to be played around. We already kind of demonstrated what can happen if build bots have a function. So maybe there's something that more permanent could happen with them. So there's a lot of ideas we have going around.
There's a lot of idea coming from our players as well for defenses. Some really cool stuff. I have pages of that. So definitely when the time comes, we'll bring some of this idea to the game.
Good. Also, I should also remind people that people that are asking for usually if there's going to be new 5-star bots, that we do have a poll going on about who people want to vote for one of the bots in the next 5-star bots. We have started the process of trying to figuring out. So please find the poll and take part if you want to be part of that. There's quite a few interesting bots in this, and I think it will be another interesting bots. Won't be OP bots because we still won't do the really good bots that everyone is waiting for. But I want to, for that, without opportunity to maybe revisit a few of the not so used bots that are a bit like fall behind to the current state of the meta. So hopefully we can do some of those 5 stars and actually affect the 4 stars and make it a bit better. Do we have enough answers for the trivia?
I think so. I see, Fabian, you choose one from which channel?
From Twitch and from Facebook. We need to have a study on the YouTube winner.
Okay. Maybe it's an answer, maybe it's not. Okay. Grand Galvatron is cheating just by sending as many answers as possible. Let me try again. Okay, good one.
Some people are asking like how long the current Prime League effects are gonna stay there for. I think we just put them like quite recently, so not for another 3 weeks at least. I know a lot of people are struggling, but at the same time, a lot of people are actually loving them, and it's a different kind of strategy. Like you have to prioritize buildings, and you need to take out buildings because otherwise they will give you a lot of pain, like missile launchers. And I think that's actually it's really nice for the meta, because before you could just ignore some of the buildings because you could out heal them, but now you know that you have to avoid things. So they were gonna say for another 3 weeks. Hopefully by the end of it, people will be more acclaimed to it. It is harder than the usual ones, but Prime League effect and also hard mode is being designed for the top players that want the challenge, the extra challenge. So that's why we can make it easier, because they were always targeted for them. So there's no point having effects that are not hard enough. So some people find them challenging, and the people that actually want to be challenged are not challenged. So we need to be able to play around with it.
Cool. Shall we give the answer to the question then? So I'll just remind the question. In the 2005 IDW comic Transformers, Robots in Disguise, Chromia's job is that of a bodyguard, but who is she protecting? It was Windblade. And the winners are, we have Striker 80 from TF Vector Primes. We also have Blastwave 06 from TF Illumniboti, and we have GC Miz. Yeah, no, we have Thunderbot from Arc New Union. Congratulations to you guys. We will send you some freebies. It might take a couple of days. If you don't get them by Monday, contact the support.
Cool. So we'll do the next trivia too. And
Next trivia.
Oh,
I can do that one.
yeah.
So, question number 2. In the G1 toy line and the Victory cartoon, Hellbat came with a mini robot bat that
Felbat.
transformed. Hellbat, yeah, Felbat. Okay, it's Felbat. In the original name that we won't pronounce anymore, Felbat came with a mini robot bat that transformed into a chest plate for him to wear. But what was the bat called? So we know this small bat in the chest plate. What was the name of this small robot in a form of a bat that Felbat had? I will repeat the question. So in the G1 toy line and the Victory cartoon, Felbat came with a mini robot bat that transformed into a chest plate for him to wear. But what was the bat called, the bat's name?
Cool. In the meantime, let's see if there's any more questions. I saw some
questions. Somebody was asking, would it be possible to add small buffs to combine a bot if they are part of the same squad? For example, you have first aid healing ability boosted by 2% if all the protector bots are in the squad.
There's something I want to do like next up in game. I do want to consider doing some kind of synergy for the teams. Say if you put all the Dinobots in place in the same squad, that they might be able to get some buffs. So you can like run theoretically a whole Dinobot squad and still not miss the healer or something like that. So there is something I want to play on the back because it would be nice to have a synergy where you can just put all the protector bots and they get some buffs and they can be more valuable in the kind of the battlefield. So you could just like, okay, they are not balanced squads, but because of the extra synergy buffs, they are quite stronger and I can actually do an attack with them. So something I want to try to do in the future for sure.
Will there be some new ways to earn Z Energon?
Not at the moment. I know a lot of for a lot of people actually could have quite a bit, and we keep checking the like how much people have in their inventory, and so far it feels quite healthy. So we'll see in the future if there is a need to. I think it's like I think it actually works pretty all right because if you don't skip your buildings, then you really like if you wait for 2 weeks, you have enough time to get enough Z energy to do it. I think where it's there, it's quite nice. But yeah, you do have to keep raiding, and of course you have to do war battles in order to get quite a bit of it. Though we might actually be tweaking some of the rewards you get in some of the zones.
Yeah, some were saying like they gave a suggestion for G1 Mirage. I don't know how you say that in English. They say like you should allow it to become hollow and undetectable for 10 to 15 seconds.
There's a lot of cool ideas. Like for a lot of the bots that are already there, like we do get all the time, like you could do this for this bot, and I think Fabian has pretty much a list of that. So we will get around to do some more buffs on the older bots, and hopefully some of those ideas will actually make it a reality.
And what I can say for Mirage is like it is my intention to have something that definitely looks like the G1 cartoon for the G1 core. But yeah, I'm not sure when the next batch of G1
the only annoying thing is that because we have to have them in parity, then it becomes a problem. So like if you have to do something for Mirage, you have to do the equivalent for the Decepticon counterpart. So that's why originally we didn't have the same G1 cores. You only have different ones with different abilities most of the times, but we do have to keep parity. So, but hopefully a lot of the bots are gonna get the specific G1 abilities at the end of it. Cool. Do we have enough answers?
We need one randomly picked answer from Facebook. And that is it. So you want to give the answer?
Yeah, go
Yes, the answer is Komori breast. Komori breast. Yes, as it sounds. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, Komori is like the way it's written is probably a Japanese word from like where
Yeah.
obviously the bots originated, but I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it means that. I don't know. So the winners are Greg Pettigrew, who is named in game Double Dealer from the Alliance Skywarps Seekers. We have Chodaboy from Alpha Cartel, and finally we have Seaspray 1216 from SG Winbots. Congratulations to you guys.
Congratulations, everyone. The
Okay.
rewards are going to be given like as soon as possible from our CS team.
According to Google, Komori means babysitter. So
Nice.
it may not be that Komori, but yeah.
Cool. So shall we move on onwards and then do some dialogue
Yes.
Indeed.
and some reveal because we kept people waiting for quite some time. So I'm actually gonna hide our faces because so you guys can actually see read the dialogue. So
That's an improvement for the stream.
yeah, it's
an improvement for immerse yourself in the dialogue.
So we don't actually distract you. So 1 sec. Trying to set it up. Okay. Cool. Are you guys ready? You can see everything, right? Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So let's roll. As a reminder, oh, there it is, a spoiler. Straight
Omega
away.
Supreme.
Omega Supreme.
Yes, it starts like that.
Here on Earth. That's just a myth, isn't it?
Perhaps not, Ultra Magnus. At the core of every myth is a grain of fact. His disappearance at the end of the first phase of the war on Cybertron remains a mystery, but
Way I heard it, he sacrificed himself to save Cybertron. And maybe that meant putting as much distance between there and him.
But why, of all worlds, here? Isn't that a huge coincidence?
or part of a grand cosmic design we have only glimpsed. Earth and Cybertron phase have revealed themselves to be increasingly intertwined. Just consider the prime cores, the naturally occurring energon deposits.
I believe it to be so. In the past, and in the fate and final resting place of Omega Supreme, lie answers that might help us for our current crisis.
Okay, let's say, for argument's sake, hundreds of years ago, Omega Supreme chose or was forced to exile himself here on Earth. How do we find him? Does he even want to be found?
His power would certainly give us some hope against Death Saurus Combiner. But is waking him just a bigger problem in the making?
There was talk once upon a time that before he departed Cybertron, Omega Supreme shared his intended destination with one other. She denied it then and has never spoken it of since.
She? She who?
One who continues to fight the good fight of Cybertron. One pledged lifelong to safeguard the legacy of the Allspark. Then Elita 1, it is to Chromia we must now turn.
Reveal time!
So this is how like the whole story links, and Chromia actually has the secrets of Omega Supreme location on Earth, and this is the reason why you have to unlock it next week.
Yeah, Chromia reveals an Omega Supreme coming up soon. We're actually gonna show them, and people are gonna be wondering like if Omega Supreme is coming, uh, who is gonna be like joining them for the Decepticon? It's actually and how they're gonna be joining us. So we're gonna be talking about this. So they're gonna be kind of Omega Supreme pair will be with Overlord. So Overlord will be the Decepticon counterpart of Omega Supreme, because both of them are quite big kind of bots. So it felt like we were going through like how we're gonna get to Omega Supreme. So it felt like Overlord could be the one to actually make sense. They're not Titan size. We don't want them to be Titan in the games. They are more combiner sites as the original G1 and cartoon. So they will be quite like a combiner kind of bot, even though they're not combiners. So they will be accessible through the combiner labs, and you will be actually be able to use them as a normal combiner. There is a few caveats, so we're gonna go through that. So this is not gonna be a combiner that you're gonna get by unlocking other bots. This could be a combiner that you can win by playing the new campaign that's going to be coming up in 2 weeks. So there will be a new story campaign where at the end of it you can actually win Omega Supreme and Overlord if you're a Decepticon. The caveat is that this will be the first combiner that's going to be a 2-star. So it's going to start as a 2-star combiner. And also it will be one of the first combiners that's going to be a 5-star eventually. So the idea is that through events you will be able to rank him up all the way from a 2-star that everyone can get all the way to a 5-star. So more details to follow. I am gonna actually reveal them now with images, and then hopefully we can actually show them in game. So that's Overlord right there, and Omega Supreme. So both will be joining us soon. Into yeah, I think it's 2 weeks time. So it's gonna be good additions. It's a bit like it's nice because a lot of people were predicting that we were going straight for the new combiners that we'll be working on, but we wanted to get a few extra ones in, and so Omega Supreme. Everyone has been asking for him for quite some time, and we thought like we wanted to get them in. So both of them will be coming soon. um, I'm gonna actually switch so we can actually show them in the showroom today. So a treat for everyone.
That's cool. So some people on the chat were saying, new campaign. Yeah, the campaign you will be able to unlock the 2-star at the end, and then after that, during the campaign, you will be able to play them to their full power as well. So you'll be able to just like experience them fully.
So and also like it's gonna be free to play. There will be some requirements for ranking up that you will have to get specific levels. You have to get the level up through using Combiner Spark before you can unlock them. So it won't be as easy that you just get the item that makes him a 5-star bot. So you will have to do some leveling up before you get there. So let's see if I can get into this space bridge. Cool. Let's do them. Let's show them. So that's Overlord for the Decepticons. You can see it says 2-star thing. His transformation is reminiscent of the fact that he's actually 2-part bot. So a plane and a jet, a tank and a jet coming in. It's actually quite hard to actually show them. Okay, because he's actually a massive.
So yeah, you can see it transform in the space station in the showroom. You can see it here. So yeah, it's a 2-part bot, and as you say, like the transformation, you can really see like it just separates between tank and spaceship.
So his Halfrom is not like other combiners, which is like different bots. He's actually those two parts, and he's actually kind of a base building. I don't know, maybe in the future we can actually get them in the base, but yeah, so that's why we actually pair of Overlord with Omega Supreme, because they already have this kind of a building form, which could be nice for the future.
Cool. It looks really good.
Yeah, they're both lovely. They're both great, really great characters, and we're really excited to get them in the game. So I'm gonna switch out so we can actually get now to everyone's favorite Omega Supreme. Is there any questions actually?
Power requirement for the new campaign. So the new campaign will be, yeah.
I was gonna ask if it's gonna be one of the campaigns that you can use your robots, or we can just give them the characters to use.
So yeah, no, the campaign will be accessible if you have completed the other campaigns, and also you will be given bots during the campaign, because the bots are featured in the story, and they will, spoiler, look a little bit different in that campaign, because it is a campaign that actually happens in the past, where they remember what happens in the last moment on the War of Cybertron before they quit and they went to Earth. And this is at this moment that actually Omega Supreme tells to Chromia where he's going to go to Earth, and this is why they try to figure out during this campaign. So the bots will be given to you.
It's kind of a reminiscence, and it actually answers a lot of questions people. If we were gonna do anything with Netflix, the new Netflix War for Cybertron series, so this campaign and the introduction of Omega Supreme is kind of part of that call out to the story that's gonna take part in the new Netflix series. So that's also gonna be, you can see like it's the story is gonna be a bit more darker, like taking part to the old the War of Cybertron. And
a lot of the characters that are featured in the Netflix series will appear in that campaign.
I'm trying to find Omega. So we're ready to show Omega. There is a thing that you will see that his visor is not see-through. It's something because we're still working on them. But yeah, there's Omega Supreme. So still work in progress. The visor is something of course we want to actually making work better. And
yeah, a grapple.
Gigantic.
Yeah, so some of our players are asking if Omega can go into a combiner outpost. It will, despite the fact that you don't have to combine and collect 5 bots to combine, because obviously it's not a combiner, it will work mostly like a combiner. That means that you will spend all 13 to activate it and take it into a battle, and you will also spend all 13 to put it in an outpost and use it as a defensive option.
That transformation is just incredible. It's so good.
He's actually a bit of a spoiler. He's the combiner is actually going to have a different animation when deployed in battle, because we wanted to have like Omega Supreme come as a rocket and land, and then kind of become from that. We didn't want to just appear a building, so we actually have 2 animations in the game, and he's one of course, the ones we really, really wanted to get right, because he's such a great character. I do love the tank going around the track of the base of the building.
And before Papi Bless comes asking, the face, we want to fix the face, right?
Yeah. He was actually working on some other versions. I think it's something when we put on a device was a bit different. So we will get it to work before release. We're still actually developing now the abilities and stuff. We have 4 abilities to go through, because he's a 5. He can actually go up to the 5-star. So
yeah, so some of the people were saying like, will these bots be accessible to low-level players? Yes, as long as you complete the campaign all the way to that campaign, all the campaign before and this one, you'll be able to unlock this character, Omega Supreme, if you want to go
an Overlord. Yeah.
Yeah. Reminder: the Decepticon counterpart is Overlord. They are asking Overlord.
Yep. So Omega Supreme for the Autobots and Overlord for the Decepticons. This is one of the first time when people will be like, "Ah, damn, why can't I just get the other function?" But yeah, I guess that's why people want the other combiners. But it's something we can think in the future if that's gonna be allowed to be able to get, because I assume a lot of the Decepticon players would love to have Omega Supreme. Cool. That's it. That's the only thing we can show from them right now. They're really early on in development. We were actually trying to get Chromie and Felbat done, so we can actually get the playtesters to work on them next. So they will be coming out in the game in 2 weeks' time. As a reminder, they're gonna be available for 2-star versions from the campaign, and you can walk all the way to a 5-star. And usually, it will come through events. So we'll be running events, and you can actually win the thing that unlocks a 5-star. And I think maybe later on you'll be able to get them from the Sonic store too, or something like that. There's ideas you can do them in other ways. So you will definitely be able to get them if you miss the events. But we do want them to be kind of as a free-to-play version of a combiner.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm really like, it's just like out of like we working on it up until now to show them. We've been working on like abilities in the background, and like they're coming along together. The playtester is going to see them, and in 2 weeks we'll be able to reveal them as well. And it's also going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
Quite excited to have a new campaign as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think also people were asking why if it's gonna be hard, or what bots you'll be using. I think it's like us giving the bots makes it a bit better, because we can then design the difficulty for everyone to be able to achieve, and not be able to stream roll like people just go through the 4-stars and come stop the bases. So hopefully we can be able to do. It gives a bit of a challenge for the players, but of course people will just finish it in a few minutes. So it's one of the reasons why we don't do campaigns, but for cool things like that, it's definitely now nice to have.
Cool.
Nice. We needed
Nice.
to find another way than collecting bots to give you this big bots. So yeah, that's the perfect way.
Cool. I don't know if there's any questions that we missed going through, like for the new characters from Mega Supreme and Overlord. People are asking if actually the 3-star, 5-star would be only that you'll be able to get a 5-star straight away from the first event. No, I think the first event will probably gonna give you the 3-star, and then it might be like a month or sometime later that you'll be able to get a 4-star, and then some time later that you'll be able to get a 5-star. And there is a requirement, so you have to a 2-star. You have to get a 2-star to level 5 rank up before you can get him to 3-star. You have to get a 3-star to level 10. Then you can get a 4-star rank up, and then you get the 4-star to level 20 before you get to upgrade to the 5-star. So there's a bit of a grind there, but it's gonna be one of the most powerful things we have, especially for combiners. So some grind should be expected for a 5-star combiner.
I mean, it's going to give a big range between like having a bot, like a combiner type bot that's accessible at 2 stars, but via a campaign, which is like a lot less hard than to get like 5 4-star or 3-star bots. And then if you put the energy into it, then you can get it like to a very powerful place as well.
I think we can also, now that we introduced a 2-star and 5-star kind of combiner, we could rethink about if we want to do a 2-star combiner for the normal combiners in the future. We didn't actually have the tech until now, so this is something new. But a 5-star, other normal combiners probably won't happen anytime soon, not unless we get all the 5-stars for that combiner, but maybe in the future. Who knows? Cool.
Cool.
Ah.
Oh, that's a lot of excitement. A lot of things to see in the game.
Let's do some other questions. Some people are asking about the the combat area of the parkour store, if we can actually kind of sort them per functions, or make it somewhere easier to when you try to upgrade one that it doesn't upgrade others. This is something I will look at the future, if make it a bit easier to differentiate and make it a bit easier to see like this sort of this Decepticons and a bit less prone to accidental leveling up some other like combat bots.
A question about platforms. Do we plan to release the game into Amazon Fire App Store? I think it's quite unlikely at this
No.
point. That said, they do exist Android emulators for PC that we don't support either, but they do exist.
There are some questions about, will there be a triple changer G1 core or cores in the future? I think we answered to that like quite recently. I was saying that there might be this year a new triple changer coming, which like brings the number to like a good amount of triple changer, and that would potentially justify creating a specific core for them, and that's something we'll probably look at once that new triple changer is released.
Cool. Also, I don't know if there's any other questions. I could actually do another small reveal, a preview for what's going to happen in the next release. There was a request that people asked, like in the previous streams, if they could get Prime League effects and hard mode effects in when you do base trials. So this is actually something that's going to actually happen next version. I'm gonna do a sneak peek reveal. So when you do a base trial, you'll be able to select a hard battle effect or a Prime League effect toggle, and you'll be able to test your base under this effect and get some more practice with a new effect. So something else to come up from the next version release. So we are slowly working through people's requests. We're introducing new cool characters. We introduce like ways to play the game. So hopefully other requests that you guys have done will come sooner than later.
Some question as well about Nosecone, if it could be looked at for a possible buff. It's been released quite recently. The thing with Nosecone is like it's a very specific function bot. So it's perfect to just destroy one mole and let like all your squad go through that little hole and just do that. So for this reason, it's not very versatile. You cannot use it in like a lot of situations. So I would say this is probably the reason why you think it's not that powerful, but in what it does, it is. But if you have an idea, you can still suggest and we can
Yeah,
look
I
at it.
think Nosecone is one of this bot that I would love to have so specific layouts. There's so many layouts where I know if my squad is gonna go around the walls and they will split. And I wish I actually had Nosecone so I could punch a hole through that middle of the wall and then my bots go after. That's a lot of the difficulty of some bases is exactly that, like that split. So if you could take it around with just one ability, it would be amazing. Because slats can only do. Is it slats? Yeah, slats can only do it for specific layouts. So it is a different option, and he's actually pretty good at base stats. He's a tank, so I think it's pretty good. But he has that one usage that if you don't have it, then if you don't need it, then he might not be as useful.
Although he has quite good stats for a warrior, so
No, I
it
mean, yeah.
compensates with that. Yeah.
I would say there's a lot of other bots people will need more love than actually Nosecone for the time. Cool. Some people say you cannot actually destroy an HQ 16 base until he's max. No, he can actually do it pretty like until quite high level 50s, and of course you can use his ability twice. That will probably destroy a wall. So his ability is not that expensive, so you could do it like that. Okay. Don't know if there's any other questions to take for switch off. Oh, it's really hard to read YouTube. I don't know why it scrolls so fast.
Does Red Alert's friction rifle have a status effect? Yeah, it does. I don't really remember now, but I think it's some sort of a glass gas effect. So it's the target of this passive attack that happens every 5 seconds, I think. When it's under this effect, the building receives more damage. So generally, he has it as a targets it with this friction rifle, and then he attacks it and makes more damage than he would normally do.
Cool.
I guess it's not written really anywhere. It's a bit
Yeah,
of a secret.
it's a lot of there's a lot of things in the game which is kind of hidden on the like a lot of passive stats that some bots had, like snarls like a flame aura or perceptors like hack that we have no actually space to put them in. Maybe we could actually start putting them in the BIOS for them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of cool little sceptics that's actually in the game, and maybe when we do the new 5-stars, we can actually introduce a few more. So it would be a nice way to have them somewhere. Cool. So I think we're about to wrap up. So let's do a summary of what we covered in this stream. So we showcase the new bots, which the new normal bots that's gonna come in at the end of the saga next week in the leaderboard. That's Chromia and Felbat. Scout class special bots will be will be telling their ability next week. We did show the event for this week, a bit kind of not as a Gates event, just for give a little bit of a breather. We also saw Omega Supreme and Overlord, which is gonna be the new combiner type bots that gonna be joining us after Chromie and Felbal are out in 2 weeks' time. They're gonna be unlockable by a new story that's gonna be like go live around that time. So they will be kind of free to play to own. You just need to finish the story and get them. Whoa, what happened?
Oh, sorry. I was testing this. This Gangamatron sent us this. I didn't want to forget to show that amazing work. Sorry, Yanis, for hacking your summary. I thought it was going to be just shown on my screen. So thank you. Thank you for sending us this stuff. We love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably mess everything up. Let's see. Okay, so we're back to normal.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm worried before do things like that. You should forward the pictures. Cool. So next things happening. You're gonna get a lot of new bots and new characters coming soon. New cool additions in the game with a new version. So stay tuned, and more things will follow. So the next stream is gonna be in 2 weeks' time. So we're not gonna have a stream next week. But we're gonna have a stream before the release of Omega Supreme and Overlord, and we will actually spend more time with them, showing all the 4 abilities they're gonna have, and showcase them before the release.
We'll probably like share some artwork and some information on them in next week's newsletter if you subscribe to this.
Cool. So thanks for joining us once again, guys. Hope you have a good time. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys.
See you soon. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.